CTV News with Ken Shaw and Michelle Dubé.
Good afternoon. Some Bolton High School students had to scramble to safety when their bus went off the road and into a river.
And it was near their school this morning. The bus struck other cars before going backward into the Humber River. CTV's John Musselman joins us from Humber Lee Road in Bolton with the story. John.
Yeah, pretty scary, Ken. It happened right behind me. There's a school bus just driving through our shot now, but just behind that school bus, you'll see some grass that's been torn up. That's where the bus actually started sliding back into this ravine, and now what police are trying to figure out how this all happened. A frightening situation for high school students on this bus. It slid down into a ravine in Bolton this morning. Students on board say the bus seemed to lose control on a hill. Then it started rolling backwards. Sindy Rioux was on board the bus. She says students escaped through a side window when the bus finally ended up on the edge of the river.
Everybody turned to the one in the back, and we're like, we can't get out this way because there would be water and we'd have to jump into the water. And then the side windows on the right side, they wouldn't, when you'd open it, you had to step onto where we're standing right now. And then the other, the main door wouldn't open, so we had to go out through the one way. And someone, I don't know who it was, I think they were driving a Jeep. They were in the accident, and they ran down as fast as they could and helped us all out of the bus.
17 students were on the bus. It was heading to Humberview Secondary School when this crash happened around 8:15. 2 other cars were damaged when the bus started rolling backwards.
We're currently looking into the cause of the collision. We have a commercial motor vehicle inspector that's going to be following the bus back to Brampton now to do an inspection on the vehicle for any mechanical errors.
That was really scary for me. I know everybody would had a panic attack a little bit right after everybody got out, and a lot of kids were crying, and I was trying to be supportive, but I was also really shook by it.
No one was injured in this crash, including the bus driver who left the scene with an official from the bus company. And Cindy told us that once she got out of that bus, she called her mom and dad. Then she called her boyfriend, who was already at school. He came running down to see if he could help. She was already safe at that point. The bus has been removed, and again, they will be inspecting the bus to see if there was any kind of mechanical problem to explain why it couldn't navigate up this hill and suddenly started sliding backwards. Reporting live in Bolton, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John.
Earlier in the day, there were scary moments for other students who were trapped aboard a bus in Bolton when it started rolling backwards, landing in a ravine. CTV's John Musselman reports.
In this viewer video, you can see how steeply the bus is angled into the ravine. The rear of the bus is almost in the water. 17 Bolton area high school students were on it when it rolled backwards. Sindy Rioux was one of them. She says students were frantic. They escaped through a side window.
Everybody turned to the one in the back, and we're like, we can't get out this way because there would be water, and we'd have to jump into the water. And then the side windows on the right side, they wouldn't, when you'd open it, you had to step onto where we're standing right now. And then the other, the main door wouldn't open.
Vince Facchini was right behind the bus. When it started rolling backwards, he maneuvered his truck out of the way. Then he ran over to help the students.
While the bus was in the ditch, everybody was kind of panicking because they were afraid that what was happening. And again, we were just trying to get everybody out.
The school bus was heading up a hill towards Humberview Secondary School. Students say the bus appeared to stall, then it rolled back, hitting 2 cars before sliding into the ravine.
We're currently looking into the cause of the collision. We have a commercial motor vehicle inspector that's going to be following the bus back to Brampton now to do an inspection on the vehicle for any mechanical errors.
I know everybody would had a panic attack a little bit right after everybody got out, and a lot of kids were crying, and I was trying to be supportive, but I was also really shook by it.
A tow truck was able to pull the bus out of the ravine. No one was injured. Witnesses tell CTV News the bus driver, seen here with a bus company official, stayed in her seat holding down the brake until all of the students got off the bus. She was not injured. The cause of the accident is under investigation. John Musselman, CTV News.
Frightening moments aboard a school bus this morning carrying 17 students in Bolton, just north of Toronto, when the vehicle rolled down a hill towards the Humber River between Kingsview Drive and King Street East, the rear of the bus just hanging over the water.
Was freaking out and everybody was just okay, let's get out of the bus before it might go into the water.
The OPP saying the bus was traveling up this hill here on Humber Road a little after 8 a.m. when all of a sudden it started rolling back down and descending into the ravine. You can see the tire marks have left deep impressions right on the edge of the embankment.
Some vehicles managed to get out of the way. However, the bus struck a Jeep initially, and then it subsequently struck a Ford Focus, which then hit the tree, and the bus made secondary contact with the Ford Focus. It's pretty terrifying to see a whole bunch of kids in a school bus hanging over a river, so thankfully no one was hurt today.
Luckily, no injuries reported, but Peel paramedics say one person was transported to hospital as a precaution. Some of the damage can be seen along the road. A tree struck and tire marks left along the way. But in the moment, it shook up students at Humberview Secondary School, like 14-year-old Mateo, who didn't want to appear on camera.
We started slowing down at a decent rate. And before we knew it, we were barely moving.
At what point did you realize something was wrong?
When we started slowing down moderately on the way up the hill, and people started to swerve around us, and I saw the flashers on, and I realized, okay, something's really wrong here. I didn't realize that we were facing up until I got out and I looked at the ground, and I realized that we were on a very steep incline. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, we're lucky to be here, right, and not in the water.
There are concerns raised over why and how the bus just stopped and started rolling downhill. Students saying it stalled.
And the whole time we were in the bus today, the bus wouldn't go over 40 miles per hour. So when it was coming, it went up the hill and it stopped going, and it had to, it stopped working in general. I don't know what happened.
The OPP was able to tow the bus to Brampton, where it will be inspected. The cause of the collision is still being investigated and charges are pending its outcome. They say the driver is a 35-year-old woman from Brampton. As to how the students made it out,
we got out there, I helped everybody out, and I got out in the middle of them and started helping them climb out of the window.
they couldn't use the back exit, saying it was too close to the water. So they used the emergency exits on the sides of the bus. One of the drivers in the collision also rushed to their side.
They were in the accident and they ran down as fast as they could and helped us all out of the bus. We were up pretty high, so he would stick out his hand. We'd have to step on his hand to get out, because if he wasn't there, we'd probably fall in. That was really scary for me. I know everybody would had a panic attack a little bit right after everybody got out, and a lot of kids were crying, and I was trying to be supportive, but I was also really shook by it.
We reached out to the Ministry of Transportation and Ministry of Education. Part of a combined statement from both ministries reads in part, school buses are required to have an annual and semi-annual inspection conducted by a licensed mechanic at a licensed motor vehicle inspection station in Canada. School buses must also be inspected daily by the driver. We also reached out to Parkview, that's the bus company. I spoke briefly with the general manager, who said safety is a priority and they are cooperating in this investigation. They, however, did not respond to our media request by deadline. In Bolton, I'm Faiza Amin for City News.